and welcome back to the Break Free Find Joy podcast. I'm your host, Brandy Sickles, and intros are really hard because it's awkward. In this podcast, we'll talk about how to show up for yourself so you can show up for your life. What does that mean? Basically, it's another way of saying put on your own oxygen mask first. Like if the plane is going down, they tell you to put your own on first so that way you don't pass out and then you can help other people. That's essentially what we're going to talk about because I had to learn this the hard way, and I often have to remind myself of the tools and things that I've learned because I have very codependent tendencies. I've gone through a lot of work to recognize those patterns and to be able to break them. I often refer to myself as a cycle breaker. So if that's something that you identify with, welcome. So excited to have you here. But comes at a perfect time. I am working on getting consistent. If you look back at the videos, it's been kind of hit or miss, and my dog is going crazy. I don't know if you can hear them because I'm using the mic. You're gonna have to wait, Daphne. So this is something that had been really, nope. I will do, they just went out. And so if you can tell maybe in my body or my facial expression, I guess I'm just going to let her out because she's not going to stop, which is one of the reasons why I'm doing this on my phone and not recording it at the computer, because I've tried to do it. That's been a big issue with my consistency is the fact that when I go to sit down to do it, something always happens and I, have a lower frustration tolerance than what I would like. Here you go. And very self-conscious about that. And also when I'm in the role and I'm like on a roll and working on something and I get pulled off of it, it's almost like this irrational level of frustration. And then I can't just switch gears right back to doing what I was doing, which is super frustrating. I'm working on it. I will say I've definitely got a lot better. Like I said, at least I'm continuing on with this and not stopping. I just realized I could have paused it or I could edit it out. But here's the thing. This is real life. And these are the type of things that I want to show and not feel. I often feel like I'm being inauthentic or like I'm lying or hiding things. And that can come off as being, what is the word for that? I should have wrote it out because I forget it every time. But basically, I over-explain, and that can cause people to feel, one, overwhelmed because I put a lot of information out there at once. But it can also lower people's confidence in me because I am over-explaining things and almost like I'm trying to prove that I know what I'm talking about, even though that's not the energy that I'm trying to send out, if that makes any sense. So hopefully you've stuck with me. I feel like that was like 15 minutes, but it was 3. So anyway, we're gonna jump into what I am learning currently, and that is how to push through those moments and to continue moving forward. Even though in the podcast name, it says Break Free, Find Joy. And that's my whole thing was, I want to talk about all the things that comes with healing, but also like talk about the joyful things that come with it. Like there's a lot of hard stuff, but what about all the amazing things that you get from healing and changing those cycles? And I keep straying away from that, which is ironic and also one of the reasons why I put it in the name, because I need that reminder so much. I am a pretty joyful person. I've really been stepping into being more of myself in all areas of my life, but specifically in business calls and with my mentors and speaking up and being animated, because I am not a person who can sit still, if you cannot tell. And I'm silly. What somebody said was like quirky, but not in a bad way. And it's hard for me to lean into joy. I had a book out, but I put it back somewhere on the shelf, so I don't know that I'm gonna pull it back out. No, that's fine. I don't need to find it right now. So Brene Brown is one of the authors that I absolutely love. She talks a lot about shame and, oh, I'm just really missing it all today. That's fine. I should have written out my notes, but I had a whole plan for yesterday and it didn't work out. So we're just going with it. Consistency is key, even if you got to do it messy. That's what I am embracing. So anyway, I've been working on putting things up like this all over. So this is my current favorite book series that I'm reading. Onyx Storm was the last book that just came out. It's the Empyrean series by Rebecca Yarros. And I just got my fourth wing copy in Tuesday. I was so excited. Speaking of being more myself, during our group juice call, I heard the mail. I went and I grabbed it because I knew that it was supposed to be coming, and I saw the box and I got so excited. And speaking of the mail, we're gonna pause this and come back. All right, I'm back, and I'm gonna utilize one of the tools that I often forget recently. These are the loop earbuds, so they help lessen the noise around you. You can still hear people talk and stuff like that, but it can break down a lot of the outside noise. So I have a heater going over on the other side, and then the dogs walking around and the barking can really throw me off. Not just my focus, because I do have ADHD, so part of it is that, but it's just that sensory. I get very overwhelmed, which contributes to my frustration things. So when I remember that I have tools like this to use, it like cuts down on the overwhelm, the overstimulation from other things, and it does help me show up in a much better way. So that is another tool in my tool belt of how I show up for myself. And I used to get very self-conscious of all the different things, like feeling, again, like you'll hear this a lot from me, like I'm too much, I'm too sensitive, all those different things, and feeling less than because I need tools like this to help with the noise. I often feel less than as a mother because I get very overstimulated by the sound and the constant questions. And I know that other parents, like, they joke about it, but it always feels like, because I get so frustrated, that there's something wrong with me for getting that upset with my children or needing to take that time away from them when I love them so much and I want to be there. But oh my gosh, it's just so loud, and it's like my body is on fire sometimes when which I don't know if I can say that on here. I'm so sorry, YouTube. Anyhow, let's get back to what we're talking about. So how I've been showing up for myself is by, this space is very chaotic still. As you can see, we're working on it slowly. But even though this space is small and a bit crammed, I'm trying to put the things that bring me joy in it, to remind myself that even on bad days or when I'm frustrated, like, there are joyful moments. And oh, that's what I was saying. So Brene Brown, she I can't remember how she explains herself, but she talks about all the different emotions, and she wrote a book called Atlas of the Heart, and it deep dives into the emotions that we feel. And what she found is, through all the research and things, that joy is the most vulnerable human emotion. So it's one that most of us really struggle with actually embracing. And there is a difference between joy and happiness, because joy is like the little bursts of feeling and emotion. It's not something that's long term, versus happiness is a longer term emotion and is influenced by different things. But joy can be sparked by little things, but like when you see your favorite book series, or I have a Doctor Who clock over here, which it has a light and I like having it plugged in, but I don't know if there's something with the wiring, or it's probably that it's hooked up to the frequency is with something else because we've had that show up, but it will randomly turn on and do things. So I leave it unplugged, but I still like seeing it. That is my favorite doctor, the 11th Doctor, played by Matt Smith. And then I have over here, this is We're All Stories in the End, just make it a good one. And that's the outline of the TARDIS from Doctor Who. That's a quote from that doctor. And so, long story short, actually long story long, it always is with me. Like with all the things that is happening, I have found that though I am showing up and doing things like being productive, the things that I am doing that I think are for me are not the things that I actually need. I have still found that disconnect. And I'm working on closing that gap. All of us have different moments of like clarity, and we're always changing and growing. So I want to encourage anyone that's on this journey, like, to be open to that, because you might find something that brings you a lot of joy, and then all of a sudden you're not feeling joy in that, and you can get, if you're like me, you might get very nervous or worried that something's wrong because you're not finding joy in that specific place. A lot of this it falls back to my neurodivergence, because the dopamine cycle and all those different things. So I've had to learn that when something doesn't work, not to default back to fear, which used to be my like base level emotion that my body ran off of. And your body can get addicted to those emotions, because when you feel you have those emotions, that's a chemical reaction in your body. So it lives there until you learn to release it. I don't have all the details on that. I do have some amazing friends that I'm hoping to interview soon that can give you a deeper breakdown on that. But just for that base level knowledge, is your body can become addicted to those. So when you go to adjust and learn to do better, do not be surprised if you fall back into those patterns, and don't be discouraged. Don't feel like you're broken. You are not broken. You are growing. It's uncomfortable, and that's okay. It's supposed to be. Whether the change is good for you or bad for you, it is going to be uncomfortable. That was a piece of knowledge I knew logically, but still internally, I was so worried that it was my intuition telling me that I was doing the wrong thing, because it was uncomfortable, and I kept feeling like I was like getting all these sensations and having to change and shift that belief of, well, when I felt this before, this happened, versus this is different, and acknowledging those feelings, because you can't just ignore them. I tried that for a very long time. I'm very sorry to say that that is not going to help you. Fake it till you make it can only get you so far, because eventually those things are going to need to be expressed. And for me, they came out as self-sabotage. Anytime I would build up momentum, I would immediately either get very, very sick because I was repressing so many things, and would start to numb out on games and stay up super late at night on my phone for me time, because I couldn't get my brain to shut off. And it was because I needed to feel the things and release them, whether it was through talking with a friend or journaling or doing a podcast, because I am a verbal processor. And so speaking on things is very, very helpful for me. However, it felt very selfish, and sometimes still does, to do so. I'm having a hard time transitioning from how to tell my story in a way that is my story, like feels authentic, but also in a way that others feel more connected to. Not because the way that I've been doing it is selfish, but because humans, our brains just have certain things that how you word it changes how we respond to it, how it resonates. So it's been interesting. It feels uncomfortable, but also exciting. And I've got to get off because I have a training call. It's Thursday, so it's our core coaching calls today, and I love Tuesdays and Thursdays with my group juice people. I'll be talking about that more. I will probably do shorts. I struggle with short-term video because I'm long-winded, if you cannot tell. But anyway, the last 2 weeks, I forgot, I don't think that I had this last time. So here is my new PC setup. I'm so excited. We got it last week. I don't remember. Anyway, I'm so thankful for it. This PC is amazing. Shout out to Jen and Chris. We went with Meta PC. So also shout out to Meta PC. It has been so simple and so easy to use. But I have started gaming. I've never really gamed on the PC. I've met an amazing group of people through doing that, which has been like nerve-wracking but exciting, because meeting new people is tough for me, even if it is online. Like when I'm live and people show up, that I can do that okay. Hopping in on other people's streams and connecting and trying to talk is difficult for me because you're not seeing everybody's. I haven't historically been good with social cues, and so I get very nervous. But the community has been absolutely amazing. So I learned how to stream from my PC, stream the games that I've been learning on TikTok and on Twitch. I went live on Twitch for the first time last week. Was super nervous, but like I said, the people that I met, the community, they showed up and they interacted with someone else who popped in on the stream. So I actually ended up getting a follower. Shout out to Strawberry. I can't remember the full thing, but I know her name had Strawberry in it. And she was very kind. And she also loves the Empyrean series. So that was it was so fun. And it's been fun to step into that, that discomfort and be more curious about it. And when I started with the computer, we needed a PC because ours crashed, and I knew that I just needed something that had more power with it because I will be doing the podcast. Also, there's a podcast coming with my friend Jen, who I mentioned already. I'm so excited. We're going to start doing promo stuff for that soon, so look out for that. Distracted squirrel brain, sorry. Jen had already gamed, and so when I'd mentioned to her that we needed a PC, and she does like streaming, and there was a fast food game, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll hop on, and I tried with the other one, didn't work, and I was like, well, I gotta get a new one anyway. Maybe I should get a gaming one, and we just spoke back and forth, and I was really nervous, and I also justified it by, well, once I brought it up, my partner's friends, they game on the computer, and apparently they've been pushing him to get a gaming computer. So even if I don't like it, or if it doesn't work out for me or something, like, he's going to use it and stuff like that, instead of just really standing firm on, like, this is for me and I want this. So since doing that, I found this whole world of things that I didn't even think was going to be possible. I never thought that I could do gaming, especially not streaming or things like that, because I have told myself I would never be good at the games. And I'm not saying I'm good. I've just been doing this for a few weeks, okay? The point for me for games is, like, I'm not doing it to be good, though. Whenever I've played games, it's to kind of escape, and it's to have fun and to learn. And I typically don't play games till the end if they're games with storylines, because easily distracted, and I'll go through stints where I play it for a long time and then I'll stop. So I just had told myself I couldn't, and I just dived in out of curiosity, and I've met an incredible group of people who are so supportive, very uplifting, very positive, but also totally down to joke. I have a quirky sense of humor, but also some dark humor. Here's the thing. I'm missing the tip of my finger. That it just is what it is. I had a work accident. I used to be very, very self-conscious about it. Now I use humor to cope with this. So a lot of times it's like I do just the tip, a lot of just the tip jokes. Some of my friends, like my partner, started the 9 3/4 because we love Harry Potter, and now I have 9 3/4 fingers. Legitimately, it took off right at the whatever you call that, the knuckle. So oh my goodness, someday I will be using the editor to take out all the ums and ahs until I lessen those. So if that bothers you, I apologize. Working on it. Anywho, those are the most of the updates. This is mainly to stay consistent and to continue to post content on here. We're going to keep getting better. Let's grow together, get more consistent together. I appreciate all of the follows. We're getting close. As soon as we get up to the 50 followers, then that's when I'll be able to go live. And I promise you guys, live is where I thrive, because I don't have to feel like I need to be scripted. I can have an idea, but then when people come in and talk, I don't know, it's just more my vibe. But again, I'm pushing myself to be more confident in, or consistent, both confident and consistent, posting pre-recorded content so that people can get to know me and also get used to telling my story, plus work on my speaking, because big dream would be to speak on stages. To do that, I need to practice more. I can't just keep thinking it in my head and get better that way. As much as I keep trying to convince myself I can, I know that I cannot. So I hope that this has been helpful. If nothing else, I hope that you have gotten to know me a little bit more. I would love to know what you're going through right now. What are some things that bring you joy or that you do for yourself, especially if you get very overwhelmed. What is that word? Overstimulated. That one. If you get very overstimulated in different ways, I would love to hear what are the tools or tricks that you've used, because I am still figuring that part out for myself. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next one.